Dear students, I am Santan, working as a physics faculty in Target English Medium School. Today, in this part video, I would like to teach what are the examples or applications of Newton's third law of motion from the chapter of laws of motion. In our previous video, we clearly discussing about what is the Newton's third law of motion, and to understand action and reaction is a pair. For that one, we discussed two activities or two experiments. One is by using the two spring balances experiment, and another one is a laboratory experiment, that is a test tube, water, Bunsen burner, like that one. So that's why with help of that experiments or activities, I hope that you are clearly understand what is the Newton's third law. What is the Newton's third law? To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So okay, action and reaction is always acts as a pair, but not on a single body. They acts on the two different bodies. For a single body, there is no action and reaction. Okay, so now let me come to that one. Now we discuss that. Examples for Newton's third law of motion. Examples for Newton's third law of motion. A gun recoils. A gun recoils when a bullet fired from it. So what are the examples for Newton's third law of motion? Means I will be tell or explain some of the examples. Okay, that examples are very important for the exam point of view also in 9th standard level. That's why I will explain this one. A gun recoils when a bullet fired from it. The motion of the rockets and jet aeroplanes. Rowing of a boat. Of a boat. A person moving forward during swimming. A person walking on the road. So these are the main examples for Newton's third law of motion in the daily life. activities. A gun recoils when a bullet fired from it. The motion of rockets and jet aeroplanes. Third one, rowing of a boat. Fourth one, a person moving forward during swimming. Fifth one, a person walking on the road. So now I will explain each and every example. Okay, how the particular example is belonging to the Newton third law of motion. In the Newton third law, what is the important thing? Action and reaction. In the each and every category, which is the action and which is the reaction, that is we are discussing that. First one, a gun recoils. Listen very carefully. A gun recoils when a bullet is fired from a gun. So like this one, we are considered that it is a gun. A bullet is fired from it. So it is the bullet. It is a gun. So a bullet is fired from a gun. When the bullet is come outside by pressing the trigger, at that time the bullet will become outside. That is the action. When the bullet will become outside, the bullet will exert some force on the gun. That is the reaction. That's why this gun will be slightly moved to back. That is called recoil. So how it is possible means actually here inside a small spring is there. So this bullet is initially it is in the rest position. Is nothing but the rest position of a body will be having which energy? Potential energy. And the spring, here one compressed spring is there. The compressed spring will be having the which energy? Leave the bullet. So a bullet which is initially kept near the spring. The spring, here the spring is connected to the trigger. And the spring is in which position? Compressed position. Is nothing but a compressed position. A compressed spring will be have the which energy? Potential energy. When we can press the trigger immediately, so the force on the compressed spring is released. Then the spring will be move forward and touch to the bullet. Then the bullet will become outside. That's why. So the compressed spring is connected to the which one? Gun inside. So that's why the spring is one of the part in the gun. So the spring will be apply the force on the, or is nothing but the gun is apply the force on the bullet through the compressed spring. That is the called action. And then the bullet will be apply some force on the spring on the gun through the spring into the back. That is the reaction. Listen very carefully. Bullet will become outside. That is the action. And the gun is recoil. That is the reaction. So here. Bullet comes outside is an action. Gun moves backward is nothing but recoil. It is called reaction. So listen very carefully. So actually, inside the gun, a compressed spring is there. This compressed spring, connected to the which one? Actually here, like this one, it is there. Bullet is there. This compressed spring is positioned connected to the trigger. If the trigger is pressed, then what will happen? What are the forces acting on the compressed spring is released. then the compressed spring will become to the normal position. At that time, when suddenly it will be due to the jerk, it is apply the force on the bullet. That's why the compressed spring is one of the part in the gun. It is a fixed one. That's why. So the gun is applies the force on the bullet through the spring. That is the action. Is nothing but simply bullet is come outside. That is the action. At the same time, this bullet is apply some force on the gun through the spring into the backward. That is the reaction. So listen very carefully. A gun recoils when a bullet fired from it. In this one, bullet come outside from the gun, it is the action, and the gun moves backward or the gun recoil, that is the reaction. Second one, motion of a rocket and motion of the jet aeroplanes. So rocket means we know that so here, okay, in case of a rocket, we are observing that this side one we can bring it. It is the rocket, we can say that. So in a rocket, we are observing that at the lower end nozzles are there. Here a fuel chamber, it is the oxygen chamber is there. Okay, anyone. So what will happen during the motion of the rocket? We are observing that the hot, okay, a huge amount of hot gases comes downward. Is it correct or not? That's why we are observing that a white smoke and fire. You are observing that when the rocket will be moved upward, in the downward of the rocket, you are observing that one is nothing but, listen very carefully, when a rocket will be moved vertically upward, at that time a huge amount of hot gases are released from the bottom of the nozzle of the rocket. So the gases, a huge amount of hot gases will be come downward. That is the action, and for this action the rocket will be moved upward. That is the reaction. Like it is just like the phenomenon activity of which one we discussed in our previous video, lab activity. When the water is gradually heated up to the vaporized air, the vaporized water is applies the force on the cork will be blows out, and so the test tube will become backward. Like the same way here, the huge amount of gases will be comes downward. That is the action, and rocket will be moved upward. That is the reaction. Like the same way in the jet aeroplanes, we are observing that some of the times in the sky, okay, a smoke, when an aeroplane will be moving fastly, some smoke will become outside, a fog like that one. So it's nothing but that is the jet aeroplanes. They are travel, okay, more than the speed of the sound. Anyone. So in case of rockets or in case of jet aeroplanes, first thing, huge amount of hot gases come outside from the rocket huge amount of hot gases come outside from, it is the action. Huge amount of hot gases come outside from rocket is which one? Action. Which is the reaction? Motion of rocket in upward direction. So, during the motion of a rocket or in case of a jet aeroplanes, which is the action and which is the reaction means huge amount of hot gases come outside from the rocket or jet aeroplanes, that is the action. And motion of the rocket or motion of the jet aeroplanes, okay, in case of rocket, motion of the rocket in upward direction is the reaction. In case of jet aeroplanes, motion of jet aeroplanes in the forward direction is the reaction. So that's why in case of rocket and jet aeroplanes, we know that very clearly which is the action and which is the reaction. Next, third one, rowing of a boat. So, we are observing that in a rowing of a boat. So means, so during the rowing of a boat, you are observing that with help of the pole of the boat, they push the water to back. Then the boat will be moved to which direction? Forward direction. So, like this one, we can say that. So here, a person was sitting here like this one, a boatman. So in his hand, what is there? One spade like that one, pole is there, like this. So means, so with help of this pole, he pushes the water to back. When he pushes the water to the back, then the boat will be moved which direction? Forward. Boat push the water to back. So listen very carefully here. Pushes the water back with pole. It is the which one? Action. Okay. Pushes the water back with the pole, that is the action. And which is the reaction? Water pushes the boat in forward direction. Listen very carefully. So, in a rowing of a boat, a boatman is push the water to the back with the pole, that is the action, and water is pushes the boat into the forward, that is the reaction. That's why in a rowing of a boat, we know very clearly which is the action and which is the reaction. It is very important for 1 mark. Not only this one, the examples of Newton's third law of motion, this one, that okay, given any one of the statement, like in a motion of a rocket, which is the action and which is the reaction. In a rowing of a boat, which is the action and which is the reaction. Like that one. That's why you can write separately or mention which is the action and which is the reaction. In a rowing of a boat, pushes the water back with the pole, that is the action, and reaction is water pushes the boat in forward, that is the reaction. Next, fourth one. A person moving forward during swimming. So, a person moving forward during swimming. We know that during the swimming, you are observing that with help of our hands, we push the water to back like this one. When you are doing the swimming, with help of our hands, we push the water to the back. That is the which one action. Is nothing but initially a person during the swimming, he pushes the water to the back with his hands. That is the action. Then the water is pushes our body into the forward. That is the reaction. Understanding or not? A person pushes the water to back with his hands. That is the action. The water pushes the person into the forward. That is the reaction. A person walking on the road. A person walking on the road. So, we are observing that a person is there like this one. We can say that this person is moving in forward direction like this. When a person is moving in the forward direction with help of his leg or foot, because of the foot is contact with the floor of the surface of the ground or road. That's why when during the motion with help of his foot he pushed the which one ground to the back. That is the action. Is nothing but so person pushes the surface of road or surface of the floor to back with his foot. That is the action. Means during that motion. So our leg will move to down. Means this one. So that's why it is the floor means during that motion. So you apply some force or pressure on which one surface of the road or ground. That's why with help of the foot we apply some force, okay, that in the downward or backward, actually that is one. In the backward, that is the action, and this hard surface is apply the same amount of force on your foot in the opposite direction, that is called reaction. Listen very carefully. When a person is moving on the road, so the our foot means person's foot will be pushes the surface of the road or floor to the back, that is the action, and the hard surface of the road is pushes the means apply the opposite force on the foot, that is the reaction. So due to that one only a person easily walking on the surface of the road. Okay, but you are observing that so the rigid surface of the road or floor will offer the same force, but the same thing you are observing that in case of mud water. Okay, so in that one if you can try to walk, it is not possible. So totally the agriculture field, it is a wetland is there. So in that wetland, so you can try to walk, it is not easily possible. Why? Because of means with help of your foot we push the which one floor means surface of that one so into the backward, but so the mud field will not give the sufficient amount of opposite force. Due to that one it is very difficult to move in that mud agriculture field, that is we know that very clearly. So anyway, so when a person is moving on the road, so with help of his foot means he applies some force to the back on the road surface, that is the action, and the hard surface of the road will apply some opposite force on the foot, okay, that is the reaction.